Hello, I'm Jennifer Lee Levitz, your host for Unleash the Power of Age. This is a program sponsored by the Gloucester Council on Aging on behalf of the Rose Baker Senior Center. We talk about issues that are relevant to older adults and talk about the programs and activities at the center, as well as general information for older adults and their families. Anyway, today I have a wonderful guest here with me. She is the library director here in Gloucester for the Sawyer Free Library, and this is Jenny Benedict. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, and thank you so much for inviting me today.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about, the library, seniors in the library, and maybe you, maybe some personal things. We'd like to know more about you. So there's all of this construction going on.
Very exciting. We broke ground in September, so we've been under construction for, that's 7 months, and we have about a year to go.
A year to go. So that would be a year from now?
No, next summer. We hope to open the new 2025 Sawyer Free Library.
Yeah. And what have you done to the library? I mean, most of us are familiar with how it used to be, and how would you characterize the big changes? Maybe just with the structure first.
Sure. So the big change is we're putting an addition on the building. So it's a 3-story addition, about 14,000 square feet. And that brings us all sorts of new spaces in the library. So a community room on the ground floor, a quiet reading room on the main floor, and then upstairs a dedicated teen center and a children's program room.
All right. I didn't hear anything there for older adults.
There is plenty in the new library for older adults. And I would say, like the children's floor, if you have grandchildren, this is going to be a fantastic space to bring grandchildren of all ages.
All right.
Yeah. And on the first floor, the main floor, we have a new reading lounge, and it's going to overlook the amphitheater and overlook City Hall. Lots of current newspapers, magazines, just a terrific space to relax and read in.
Amphitheater?
Well, the amphitheater is staying, yes. So the existing amphitheater that's along Dale Avenue, that is one of the site features that we'll be keeping.
You know, I think a lot of people don't even know that there's an amphitheater.
Oh, okay.
We're used to just coming in on Dale Street, going through the library, maybe going out to what was the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Did we lose the parking lot?
No, not entirely. It's a little bit smaller, but it'll still have 26 spaces.
Well, that's not bad.
So it'll be
not
great.
Bad.
Some big improvements we've made at the entrance is now there's an accessibility ramp that goes up to the front door. The building, all of the public spaces in the building will be able to be navigated independently. So there are door access controls into each of the rooms.
Oh, that's great.
And an elevator that is large enough to accommodate anyone that's in an accessibility device.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's helpful to some of us.
Yeah.
Some of us are still walking on, talking, and doing everything on our own, but some of us, that's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Great to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then maybe on the ground floor, I think a space that will be just really exciting is the Local History Research Center. So we've come through a year of celebrating Gloucester 400th, and I think we've all appreciated just how much vitality and connection and really sense of belonging that all of that created for us. And so during the 400th, we created 2 legacy gifts, and we received another one. So the Gloucester Timeline is an online resource that shows all the key events and people and places of Gloucester's history. We digitized 93 years of the Gloucester Daily Times. And then we received the 400 Stories project from the Gloucester 400th Plus.
Oh, terrific.
So this new research center is going to be publicly accessible during public service hours. It's open to everybody. It's climate controlled. It's secure for our special collections. So this will be a great place to come and spend hours with Gloucester history.
And this would be digital, yes? This is on computers.
So some of it is digital, and then some of the collections are physical collections still.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I know as someone who is challenged digitally, it keeps me out of knowing and being involved with a lot of what's going on today.
Mm-hmm. For all the book lovers out there, I want to assure you that there will be plenty of physical books still to browse and select from in the library. Our expert library staff are also excellent at navigating online resources and can also be guides in that online environment. So as scary, I know it's, scary, and especially we see a lot of people who are still, they've got their first tablet that their family has given them and they're trying to figure out how to use it. And we offer, device advice or one-on-one consultations with our staff members. So you can bring the device in and sit with one of our staff members one-on-one and start to sort of learn how to use it. Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear that, and I just need to do a small commercial for the fact that we have all of that kind of assistance at the Rose Baker Center. So if there are any of you of any age who would like to get some more training or be introduced to the world of digital, we have a whole team and a beautiful new tech room where you can learn how to use your phone, your tablet, a computer, how to stream, how to do anything that's as scary for some of us as it is. And you can just get that information by calling Rose Baker, and at the end of this program, we'll flash the phone number where you could call.
In the Local History Research Center is actually a large format interactive screen of the timeline. So that makes it, really easy to search by the century, search by date, a person's name, and you can do that with other people as well. So that's a feature of that room that is going to be really fantastic.
That's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that will be helpful to a lot of us who are intimidated in many ways. We're used to going into the library and maybe even using our card and going to the section that we know and choosing another book or a, dare I say, CD to listen for listening to books. I'm going to interrupt myself. So what about listening to books?
Audiobooks. Our audiobooks have always been enormously popular, and particularly for older adults, they're a great resource. So we will have a good selection of audiobooks. Our DVD collection, so those of you who are watching movies on DVD, that collection will still be moving with us into the new library.
Oh, great.
So we haven't upended everything. It'll still feel very familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't thrown out the baby with the bathwater.
No.
So, okay.
No.
I gave myself a transition. Baby with the bathwater. This reminds me, we were chatting earlier. I asked, how did you get to Gloucester, Massachusetts, and get your job? Could you tell me a little bit about yourself, Jenny? Tell us.
And in case you haven't realized, there is a baby involved in this story.
A baby.
So I came to Gloucester from British Columbia, where I served as the library director of the West Vancouver Memorial Library for 9 years. I made a decision to leave that position. It was both personal and professional. And one of the motivating factors was my daughter and son-in-law who live here in the greater Boston area. We're talking about starting a family, and I could not imagine living across the coast, across the US from my first grandchild. And so looked for a professional position here in the area, and was very fortunate to come to Gloucester in this role as the library director. And shortly after, my beautiful granddaughter Juliet, who is now 2.5, arrived, and she is just such a joy.
And are you living locally?
I lived locally for the first 2 years that I was in this position, and I'm now living close to my family.
Makes sense. At least you're commuting in against major traffic. Anyway, so how is it for you in this community? I mean,
it's been wonderful. I am so honored to serve in this position. I have such an affinity for the things that people love about this community. So it's rich history, it's beautiful beaches and landscapes, all the culture that's here. Those are all things that I just love and adore. And people have been so welcoming to me. So it's great.
And so you took a job. Did you have any idea about what was in store for you, aside from being the head librarian?
So I do serve both as the library director and as the chair of the building committee for the major capital project. I came from a background in my previous position where we had done a phased renovation of a historic building. So had a lot of experience with capital projects coming into this position.
Okay.
And all of that has served me extraordinarily well. We have an exceptional team, both award-winning library architects, Odin Zello, working with Doran Whittier, and then our construction manager, W.T. Rich. And they are very, I think, I am unique in their experience in terms of working with me as a building chair and as a library director, and very kind and understanding and patient with my questions.
Oh, I want to know what you mean by unique. Come on. Here we go. So how are you different from what they're used to? I mean, is there a kind way to say how you're unique?
Well, I think you'd have to ask them that question.
Well, I would imagine, there are board chairs. I think you have a terrific board chair, do you not? Or board members.
Yes, the library board is a fantastic group. They've been working so hard on this project for 7, 8, 9 years. Yeah. So, the dedication, as you can imagine, pushing this project forward during the pandemic. It's like there've been so many complicated steps, and everyone's just, thinking about how do we solve this one and keep moving forward. And we've done that now for 5 years, and we're now a year from opening. This is amazing. So,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I can't wait. We're all looking forward to it. And again, we're looking at from the perspective of the Council on Aging and working with older adults and their families. I think that's one of the keys that you pointed out, that the new library is very family oriented, and that it can work for everybody, and that has been a goal among the goals.
I think by its nature, the public library serves everyone from the youngest to the very oldest. And that is one of the benefits of coming to the library, is that opportunity to connect with people of different ages, different backgrounds, but still having common interests. And so particularly for older adults, when you come into the library, it is getting to interact with the broader Gloucester. So.
Well, many of us were used to going to meetings of all different kinds in the library, and that will be, I'm sure, continued. Civic meetings, private meetings, talks, presentations of all kinds. I know
art exhibitions.
Yeah. All of that continues.
So we have a new 100-seat community room, and that will be a space for a variety of activities. Has a kitchenette, has state-of-the-art presentation equipment. So this is going to be a good space for holding, whether it's community dialogues or it's lectures or it's films or, civic engagement topics. I look forward to inviting, the students from the schools to come and exhibit their work. It's a great space for them to be able to do that. So it'll be a very lively space. There'll be a lot going on all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something that occurred to me, do you do any outreach from the library? I know that there's the temporary, and since it's another year, maybe we could talk about the space on Main Street that is serving as the library for now. What can you tell us about that?
I would say that we are doing an incredible amount of service in 3,600 square feet.
Really?
Yes, yeah. So we're able to bring in a lot of materials, whether we've got them stored at Saunders House or bringing them from other libraries. We are also, one thing I think that may be of interest is we do a home delivery service for people who are not able to come in person to visit the library.
How does that work?
It's a phone consultation with one of our library staff members who will, basically come to understand your preferences and interests and make recommendations of reading materials or movies or listening materials. And then we have volunteer drivers who come out and drop off and pick up things.
Volunteer drivers? Where do you get your volunteers?
These are people who have either approached us or we've approached them and said that this is what they would like to do. Yeah.
And we will put this phone number.
Absolutely, yes.
This more than one phone number. So if you want to be a volunteer, although they'll probably yell at me for offering to help with the library volunteers when we have Rose Baker volunteers that we're soliciting. Okay, volunteers, if you need the service.
Home delivery service.
Or just in general. Okay, so this could be a nice place to put in. There's another phone number that we might want to bring up for the new library. And that is that you're running a campaign. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. So I'm enormously proud to share that we are 60% of the way towards our $29 million goal.
Wow.
And we have over 800 people who have made contributions. We accept gifts both large and small. They are all equally valuable to us. And there are a number of ways which we will also put up on the screen in terms of how to make them online, send in a check, or also call. So
Are you involved with any of the corporate matching gifts or anything like that?
Absolutely. Corporate matching gifts, IRA distributions, stock transfers. These are all ways to make gifts. We also accept multi-year pledges. So that's another way to think about giving and making an investment in this project.
Well, is there any kind of, I don't want to put us both on the spot, but I'm going to ask, is there any kind of in-kind contribution? Say someone doesn't have a lot of spare cash or other assets. Is there any, are there any other ways that someone could contribute to the effort?
Well, certainly. I mean, if people would like to volunteer their time, there are fundraising events that we're holding, and those require, organization. And so, there's a number of ways to get involved as well. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about the library, about yourself, about Gloucester, about?
I think I should mention that one of the key design principles for the 2025 Sawyer Free Library is sustainability. So we are aspiring to be the first public building in Gloucester that's powered by an all-electric heating and cooling system and serviced by on-site energy generation with a solar system. So that is like an entirely new way to build that is more in balance with nature. And we have two sustainability standards that we're looking to achieve: LEED Gold and then net zero energy. And net zero energy is about having no fossil fuels on site. So we're not burning any oil, we're not burning any gas. And what this will do is that's better for our atmosphere and makes our environment cleaner for our residents. We have a water collection and irrigation system. So that's going to collect water off of the roof and put it in a tank that's in our parking lot, and that will take care of 100% of our watering of our outdoor plants.
That's great. Mm-hmm. I love hearing that. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be great to have in all the municipal buildings, all the buildings? Maybe someday. Maybe sometime. It could happen. I just want to ask you one more personal question. We were chatting earlier, and you mentioned that you had had some experience in front of audiences and on the stage, both in front of the curtain and back. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Well, I would say that, second to libraries, my second big love is theater. And so I do volunteer with Gloucester Stage still. And I don't know, whether I would ever entertain either performing or producing or directing again. In many sense, orchestrating and the opening of a new library is a lot like orchestrating a production, a theatrical production.
Absolutely.
You have all these different characters and their personalities that you have to bring all together to work together and produce the end result.
Yeah, so. You also said that you're a librarian by training.
I am. Mm-hmm.
What would that have been?
So librarians are master's level certified. So library science is a master's level educational program. When I did mine, I coupled it with a advanced management certificate. So I actually really only worked as a core librarian for a very brief period of time before I moved into the management side.
Management.
Yeah. Yes.
Management.
Yeah. But I started my career as a page, and what pages do is reshelve the books. And there's a certain simplicity to that job, and getting to see all the books and what comes in that,
I agree.
Really love.
No, I agree. There's and I started my theater career sweeping the stage, doing everything, doing absolutely everything, and I'm so grateful for having had the experience of working at the base level of what it is that I do. So learning about something at a very simple level, at a basic level, at a beginner's level, is satisfying all by itself. As you said, you got to look at all the books and see what was going on. I got to see what happened backstage and everywhere, not just from being on stage, and that it was fun and exciting all by itself. And that can happen at any age.
Mm-hmm. And I think I would add to that that's a lot about what the public library is about. It's about powering your imagination. It's about inspiring you to learn. It's to take up something completely new that's always interested you, that you haven't either had the time or whatever else it is. But now is that time. Now's the time to explore and come into the library. Browse those shelves, pick out something that you don't know a lot about, and see where it takes
you.
Dive in. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use exactly what you said and say Rose Baker, too.
Mm-hmm.
At the Council on Aging, at the Rose Baker Center, you can do all that there, too. We love to encourage people to try something different, start a new path, experiment. And it's wonderful. We will be partnering with programs and activities. We are already, and we will continue to do that with the library. It's exciting. Thank you so much, Jenny, for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, as soon as we get a date on the calendar for when we'll be opening those doors, we look forward to welcoming everybody to the 2025 Sawyer Free Library.
And thank you for being with us for Unleash the Power of Age. Okay.